So let's take a look at Toronto's suburban housing bubble 1 year later. My name is John Pasals, president at Realosophy Realty. You can catch all my latest writings on Toronto's housing market at movesmartly.com. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all my latest videos. So last year, February 2021, in my monthly report, I kind of referred to Toronto's suburban housing market as a bubble. I mean, people in my industry typically don't use those terms, but again, I do a lot of research in the housing market. My goal always is to obviously be as transparent as possible about the things that I see on the ground, the good and the bad. And at the time, I was certainly concerned that the types of trends we were seeing were very symptomatic of a housing bubble. A lot of rapid growth, a lot of fear of missing out, a lot of these behavioral factors. So at the time, a year ago, the average prices were just over 1.2 million, and they had increased 26% just in one single year. About a month later, a bunch of economists came out and basically said the same thing. They were concerned that there's a lot of speculative activity, and that they thought that even the federal government might put in regulations to try to cool some of that speculation. But what we found was the federal government did nothing, actually. I mean, the Bank of Canada came out around that same time and kind of brushed aside concerns about speculation and basically said, we need the growth that we can get to kind of carry us out of this pandemic. And they got that. I mean, house prices have accelerated. When we look at how house prices have changed in a single year, they've increased from 1.21 million last February to 1.62 million this year. And that's low rise suburban home prices. That's a 34% increase in just a single year, and 68% in literally 2 years since pre-COVID. So an unbelievable rate of appreciation. I mean, prices have exploded. And when we look at the data, the Bank of Canada's data and Terranet, which manages our land registry, they've also found a surge in demand from real estate investors. And typically this is a symptom of a market that's driven more by investment speculation rather than just people wanting a place to live in. And that has certainly contributed to the rapid growth. Where do prices go from here? I mean, it's anyone's guess. I mean, there's a lot of debate, obviously, about where things will go. I mean, obviously, prices don't rise forever, but the fact is, we have a lot of fundamental factors that are potentially going to keep prices stable, at least in the short term. Canada's population is still growing faster than our ability to build homes. So that's going to put pressure in theory on prices. But as I've said in previous videos, the important thing to keep an eye on as a buyer are really shifts in sentiment. I think when buyers go from being optimistic and feeling they need to pay any price to win a home to being concerned about the market and the economy and high home prices and high gas prices and high mortgage payments, and their move becomes more pessimistic, this could potentially lead to prices falling in the future. And if that happens, government policy really can't do anything about that. I mean, once people go from being optimistic to pessimistic, it's hard to change that. So I think these are some of the bigger things. And of course, we have these bigger macroeconomic concerns, higher inflation, there's a war going on. So it's possible that we might even see a recession a year from now that might trigger potentially a downward trend in house prices. Again, impossible to predict, but I think all these are important sort of trends to keep an eye on, and certainly ones that I'll be talking about here over the months ahead. If you have any questions about this video, please post them in the comments below or send me an email at askjohn@movesmartly.com.